Welcome back to another video. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic. Can 36 simple questions really turn two strangers into something more? It might sound like a romantic myth, but the truth lies in the science of progressive self-disclosure. Developed by psychologists Arthur and Elaine Aron in 1997, this sequence was designed to measure how quickly close bonds can form. By sharing increasingly personal details, participants systematically break down emotional barriers and build genuine empathy. Over 2 decades later, real-world experiments have proven that this isn't just academic. People actually feel as connected as longtime friends by the end. In this video, we'll explore how these questions work, why they went viral in living rooms around the world, and how you can harness their power to deepen trust, spark romance, and maybe even discover something new about yourself and your partner. The science behind the questions. At its core, the 36 questions rely on a carefully calibrated path of self-disclosure. The first dozen questions invite light, comfortable sharing. Favorite movies, ideal vacations, simple preferences, to cultivate curiosity and ease. As you move into questions 13 to 24, you delve into personal memories and past experiences, forging empathy through shared vulnerabilities. Finally, the last 12 questions tackle hopes, fears, and dreams, creating the kind of emotional intimacy usually reserved for much later stages of a relationship. Research shows that this gradual deepening triggers release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and fosters reciprocity. When you share, your partner feels compelled to share back. The result is a rapid acceleration of closeness, turning polite conversation into heartfelt connection. From lab to living room. While Aron's original study unfolded in carefully controlled university settings, it wasn't until a 2015 New York Times article that the 36 questions escaped the lab. A writer reported testing the protocol in a cozy coffee shop, and the internet lit up. Soon, couples and curious singles were experimenting at kitchen tables, recording tearful confessions and laughter-filled revelations. TikTok and Instagram feeds exploded with videos of friends and strangers bonding overnight, some even discovering that their experiment blossomed into real romance. These viral stories demonstrated that you don't need a research grant or lab coat, just what each stage uncovers. The brilliance of the questionnaire lies in its 3-stage design. Stage 1 builds rapport through safe, non-threatening questions that establish comfort. Stage 2 invites deeper empathy by exploring formative memories, your most treasured childhood moment, or a regret you'd erase if you could. By Stage 3, you're sharing vulnerabilities and aspirations, your greatest fear or what you value most in a relationship. This progression prevents emotional overload, giving each person time to process and respond authentically. It's a seamless rhythm of reveal and reflect, ensuring that every new layer of intimacy feels organic rather than forced. Real-life successes and surprises. Across social media, you'll find countless testimonies of transformed relationships. Online pen pals became real-life couples after a single afternoon of questions. Lifelong friends discovered hidden passions and rekindled affection. Even clinical psychologists report using the protocol in couples therapy, crediting it with breakthroughs in communication. One viral video shows 2 coworkers who barely spoke before trying the exercise. By the end, they shared a hug and an unplanned dinner date. These stories underscore that whether you're shy or outgoing, the questions serve as a powerful catalyst for connection when approached with sincerity. Criticisms and caveats. No method is foolproof. Critics warn that the questions can feel mechanical if you rush through them or treat them like a checklist. Without genuine curiosity and active listening, responses risk sounding hollow. Emotional intensity can also catch participants off guard, provoking discomfort or tears if you're not prepared. To avoid these pitfalls, pause when needed, validate each other's feelings, and follow up with open-ended conversations rather than moving strictly to the next question. Remember, the questionnaire is a roadmap, not a substitute for empathy and authentic engagement. Modern adaptations. Today, the 36 questions have inspired apps that guide timing, card decks for date nights, and even couples retreats built around the protocol. Therapists customize the sequence to address specific relationship challenges, and influencers film reaction videos to their own answers. Online challenges invite users to post their favorite question and tag friends. Group workshops integrate the exercise into team-building activities. Even virtual reality platforms are experimenting with immersive, self-disclosure experiences. These adaptations highlight the questionnaires' versatility and its enduring appeal across formats. Practical tips for your own session. Ready to give it a try? Choose a quiet, distraction-free space, turn off phones, and settle into comfortable seating. Decide together on a pace that feels natural, allowing time for thoughtful answers. Use a notebook if you want to revisit insights later, or simply speak from the heart. Pay attention to nonverbal cues, tone of voice, facial expressions, posture, as they often reveal deeper emotions. Resist skipping questions, even if they feel challenging at first. After finishing, carve out time to debrief. Share what surprised you, what touched you most, and how the experience shifted your perspective. Navigating emotional intensity. Diving into deeply personal territory can stir up powerful feelings, sometimes tears, sometimes laughter. When emotions rise, acknowledge them without judgment. Say, "I see this is hard for you," or "Thank you for trusting me with that." Take pauses to breathe and process, and offer physical reassurance, a hand on the arm or a gentle nod. Avoid downplaying your partner's experience by saying it's not that big of a deal. Instead, honor the weight of their story. If the intensity becomes overwhelming, suggest a brief break before resuming. A soft playlist or dimmed lights can also create a safe, supportive atmosphere for vulnerability. Sustaining the connection beyond 36. The real magic happens when you weave what you've learned into everyday life. Use insights from your answers to spark new conversations. Perhaps a follow-up question about a childhood memory or a dream you both share. Schedule mini sessions of 2 or 3 questions on date nights to keep the momentum. Plan regular relationship check-ins, revisiting topics that deserve deeper exploration. Celebrate the anniversary of your 36-question session with a small gesture or special outing. Over time, these practices transform the questionnaire from a one-off experiment into a lasting framework for intimacy and mutual growth. Now, let's showcase an example of the 36 questions and responses you could implement and test. Each pair illustrates how you might answer to foster depth and connection. Let's start. What's your favorite way to spend a weekend? Example: I love setting up a hammock in my backyard with a good novel and iced tea. It's the perfect blend of relaxation and escape. Which movie or book has influenced you most and why? Example: Inception blew my mind. Its layered storytelling reminds me to look for deeper meaning in everyday life. What's your most treasured memory from childhood? Example: visiting my grandparents' farm every summer, picking fresh strawberries at dawn, and listening to my grandma hum folk songs. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained one quality or ability, what would it be? Example: I'd love to speak fluent Mandarin. Being able to communicate across cultures fascinates me. What does a perfect day look like for you? Example: morning yoga by the lake, a cozy brunch with friends, an afternoon hike, and ending with cooking dinner together. When did you last sing to yourself, and what was the song? Example: just yesterday, I was humming "Here Comes the Sun" while doing the dishes. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? Example, I wish we'd talked more openly about emotions. I had to learn vulnerability on my own. Take 4 minutes to tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. Example, I'd talk about growing up in a small town, discovering my passion for painting in high school, moving to the city for college, and deciding to follow my heart into a creative career. What's your most embarrassing moment in public? Example, tripping on stage during a college play and turning my face bright red as the audience gasped. If you could invite anyone in the world to dinner, who would it be? Example, my late grandmother. I'd love one more chance to hear her stories and ask about her youth. Would you like to be famous? In what way? Example, not for myself, but I'd love my artwork to reach people. If that brings a smile, fame would be worth it. Before making a phone call, do you ever rehearse what you'll say? Why? Example, always. I get nervous and want to sound coherent, especially for important conversations. What would constitute a perfect relationship for you? Example, mutual respect, shared laughter, honest communication, and growing together through challenges. How do you feel about your relationship with your mother? Example, we're close now, but it took years to move past misunderstandings. I admire her resilience. Share an embarrassing moment with your partner that you've never told anyone else. Example, I once got locked in a public restroom stall for 20 minutes. Nobody knew until now. When did you last cry in front of another person? By yourself? Example, in front of a friend last month during a sad movie. Alone, it was after a tough work meeting last week. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about? Example, death in the immediate family. I believe grief deserves solemn respect. If you were to die this evening with no chance to communicate, what would you most regret not having told someone? Example, that I'm grateful for my best friend's unwavering support. I should say thanks more often. Your house is on fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to grab one item. What is it? Example, my sketchbook, because it holds my earliest dreams and memories. Of all the people in your family, whose death would you find most disturbing? Why? Example, my dad's. He's always been my rock and guide. Losing him would change everything. Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how they might handle it. Example, I've been jealous of my colleague's promotion. How would you cope with feeling overlooked at work? If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? Example, I'd be less critical of myself, learning to celebrate small wins instead of focusing on flaws. Discuss a personal fear or insecurity and how it affects you. Example, I dread public speaking. It makes me avoid opportunities even when I know I'm prepared. What do you value most in a friendship? Example, loyalty and honesty. I want friends who tell me the truth, even when it's hard. How have your priorities shifted in the last 5 years? Example, I used to chase career milestones. Now I focus more on well-being and close relationships. What's a dream you've never shared with anyone? Why? Example, I've always wanted to sail around the world. Fear of the unknown kept me from mentioning it. If you knew you would die in a year, what would you change about how you live now? Example, I'd travel more, mend old friendships, and spend daily time appreciating simple moments. What does friendship mean to you? Example, a safe harbor, someone who listens without judgment and celebrates you just as you are. What role does love and affection play in your life? Example, it's my compass. Knowing I'm loved gives me strength to face challenges. Alternate sharing something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. Example, your generosity inspires me. You always put others before yourself. When did you last feel truly happy? Describe that moment. Example, last summer during a beach bonfire with friends, laughing under the stars felt magical. If you could change anything about how you were raised, what would it be? Example, I wish my parents had encouraged my creative side more instead of focusing solely on academics. Take 4 minutes to explain a difficult experience that shaped you, then how you came through it. Example: I battled anxiety in college, learned mindfulness techniques, and now help others facing similar struggles. What do you cherish most about your current relationship, friendship or romantic? Example: our ability to communicate openly, even about uncomfortable topics, builds trust every day. How do you express gratitude toward people you care about? Example: I write handwritten notes and surprise them with small, thoughtful gifts. Finish this sentence. I am grateful for. Example: I am grateful for the way my partner makes me laugh when I need it most. The 36 questions offer a powerful shortcut to vulnerability, but only if you bring genuine openness and curiosity to the table. When you follow the protocol with empathy, active listening, and respect, walls come down and real connections emerge, whether you're meeting someone new or rekindling an old flame. So pick your first question, lean in, and discover the depths of someone's story, and maybe uncover new layers of your own heart.